Assalamualaikum and hi, welcome back to the second parts of this module. Okay, for the second part, actually, we will proceed with the further discussion on the logistic activities. In this slide, we will see into the importance of logistic activities. Before we proceed with further discussion on the importance of logistic activities, I want you to recaptures on your understanding of the logistic activities of the logistic itself, what it means on the terms logistic, on the logistic activities. As I mentioned before, logistic activities consist of plans, implements, and controls. Why it is important? Why these three functions, these three things are important in logistic activities: plans, implements, and controls. Actually, plans, implements, and controls is the key functions in logistic activities. It is to ensure the efficiency and also the effectiveness in forward and reverse flow and the storage of goods, services, and related information between 2 points. The first point is known as points of origin, and the last point is point of consumption. In logistic activities, it is very important in ensure we as a logisticians, okay, or we are as a retailers or entrepreneurs, it is very important to ensure that our logistic activities in the industry, in the organization itself, is able to meet the customer's requirements. Let's say we are ordering a good from Shopee, but it takes about 2-3 months for the goods to reach us. It means to deliver to us, it takes 2-3 months. We as a customers must be very frustrated on these situations, and we can say that they have very poor logistic activities. They have very poor, they mismanage on their logistic activities. As I mentioned before, in logistic activities, it consists of 3 main activities. The first one is plans, implements, and controls. We plans what goods which we need to ship to the customers, what are the raw materials that we need to reorder from the supplier. Okay, it is about plans. Okay, we need to plans, let's say 2-3 months will be a fasting months. So we as a retailers, we need to plan how many uh how many eggs, example, how many eggs we need to order from our suppliers in order to meet the customers' demands for eggs. Okay, if we are unable to plan efficiently, of course it will happen shortage of eggs. okay, during the fasting month. In our shop, we are as a retailer, in our outlet, okay? And then once we plan, we need to implement the plans. Once we implement the plans, we need to control it, to control the activities. So, for further discussion, we need to know why logistics is a must. Can you imagine that if there is no logistics, there is no logistic activities in our organization? Do you think that the customer will get their order? Do you think that we are able to to complete the customer's order on time? Do you think that we are able to meet the customer's demand? Do you able to think that do you think that we are able to be competitive in very highly competitive scenario nowadays? Okay, so I'm pretty sure if we conduct our business without logistic activities, without proper logistic activities, without efficient logistic activities, for sure we are unable to compete. Okay, so in our next point in this module, we need to think why logistics is a must. Actually, there is few push factors that makes logistics is important, that makes the changes in the logistic activities nowadays. Okay, we can see in terms of reduction in economy regulation. Okay, reduction in economy regulation. It means reduction in economic regulations in terms of the flexibility in pricing and service. Okay, in flexibility in increasing the price, which is allowed large buyers of transportation service to reduce their transportation costs. Okay, so it make changes to the logistic activities. And the second one's in terms of consumer behavior. If we see in our environment today, okay, we see everyone want to be fast. Okay, they want to perform everything in a faster way. So the shifting in the consumer behavior have made changes to the logistic activities. And this also becomes the reason why logistic activities is important in any businesses. The third one is in terms of technological advances. There are so many advances in terms of technology, okay, which is the evolution of the technology have forced us as businesses, as entrepreneurs, as retailers to adapt, okay, to solve, to manage, to adapt our business, okay, to the current situation. So in this way, we can say that this is makes logistics very important. And The next one is in terms of advances in retailing. Retail industry also have very rapid, highly evolved nowadays. We can see there is omni-channel has been comes to the industries. Okay, in terms of smart retail, there are so many changes in retail industry. Okay, so when we see the advances in this industry, actually it has pushed us as either as manufacturers, we are as distributors, or we are as retailers. It have pushed us to be very efficient in the logistic activities, and the logistic activities becomes an important, they become as a backbone to in meets the customer's requirements. Okay, and of course the last point is in terms of globalization. It also becomes a push factors to the evolution of the logistic, and it also becomes the push factors in on the importance of logistic. Okay, so in order to ensure that you understand what um, all these factors have affects the logistic, okay, in ensure that you understand why logistics is a must in any businesses or in any industries. I'm going to give you an activities, okay, an activities which is I will explain in the forum. Okay, all right. When you see this illustration, actually this illustration illustrates in terms of the flow of inbound and outbound movements of the goods from which is starting from the manufacturers, okay, to it's starting from the suppliers to the manufacturers. It goes to the factory, and then goes to finished goods inventory, goes to the distributors, and lastly go to the retailers, and finally at the final stage it goes to the customers. All right, so in this when we saw the illustration of this flow, we can say that we can conclude that the logistic activities actually is very important. If there is no logistic activities in this flow, for sure customers will not get their goods. Manufacturers unable to process the goods if there is no logistic activities or supply chain activities. Okay, so this flow actually is explain everything in terms of the flow of inbound and outbound movements. You can refer to the textbook which I have provided before. Okay, you can refer to the ebook. Okay, so we will discuss further on this illustration in this course. Okay, all right, I think that's all for my explanation on second part of the first module. Thank you.